spiritual, then it's good. So Yitzhak says, I have no blessings to give you because you sold out from the whole system. I was going to make you the one physical and being an assistant to the spiritual. You sold out. Your brother's got both jobs now. He runs the physical and the spiritual. What can I do for you? You cut yourself out of the system. So he says, but Dad, you don't understand. I don't care about the spiritual system. I just want a good hamburger. I want a good steak. I don't give a darn about that. Just give me a blessing. Give me something physical. Yeah, the fat of the land is yours. You could have it. It's physical. It's not going to do anything for you, but if that's what you want, I can give you that. But this Jewish people, you cut it yourself out of. You're not in that. I don't care. I want food. I want wealth. Okay, you got it. That's the third one. And that's where the last blessing comes from. You know what the last blessing is? The last blessing, when Jacob is leaving, it's not that it was a new blessing all of a sudden. What happens is, that's the spiritual blessing you can't really give to anyone. When I give you a blessing, I can't say, give you a blessing, oh, you're going to be a righteous person. Because then you have no free will. I don't give you a blessing on your spiritual things. I give you a blessing that your physical surroundings should make it easier for you to make the right spiritual decisions. That's a blessing. I can't make a blessing, you're now a robot, you will do all the mitzvot. That's not a blessing, it's nothing. I give you a blessing that you should have, a settled mind, that you can choose the right things. When someone comes to you for charity, if you're all hassled, you say, I'm busy now. So if I give you a good, blessing that you'll have a good frame of mind, you could do positive things. But I can't give you a blessing on the spiritual. This last thing was not really a blessing. He was saying to him was, Jacob, now I understand the blessings which are the spiritual, real blessings. The first blessings were the physical ones. The spiritual blessings of Abraham, the land of Israel, the Jewish people, I know for sure now those are yours. Because that's who you are, I realize now. Those blessings are going to be yours. Okay, we've answered these 4 questions. Now, we come to the very, very messy question. Esau's free, yeah.
So just clarification, number 4 is not, so it's not really a blessing?
It is a blessing, but he's saying it as a statement. He's not giving a blessing now, he's saying as a statement, the blessing of God will bless you. God will bless you, because it's evident to me that now I see you're the one.
So it wasn't included in the prior...
Right, because the prior blessings were the physical blessings. Spiritual blessings, he was going to be the righteous one. He says that the facts are it's you. Now, this question was very hard. Esau he was born red, it says. Nothing against redheads, I got a bunch myself. But the Talmud does say, it says that when David was born, they thought maybe he was going to be like Esau because he was all red. It says, but he had beautiful eyes, which is the Talmud's way of saying that his fiery personality was used to good. Esau was born red, and he wants, just give me those lentils, the red stuff, and he was trying to come out and serve idols before he was even born. What's that about? Free will? It's a very, very amazing answer here. If you look at the text, it never said that Esau wanted to come out and go to a house of idolatry and bow down to the idols. It doesn't say that. It says he wanted to come out to go, when he walked by a house of idolatry, he wanted to come out. You know why? That's up to his free will. His free will would be either he would go out and serve the idols, or he would destroy them. Because Esau's mission was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He had the potential to go out into the world and remove evil. That's who he was. If he used it for good, his free will, his ruddy complexion, his going and his fighting would be to fight for justice. Like King David. To fight for what's right. To remove idolatry from the world. That's who he was. If he uses it improperly, he bows down to the idols. And that's really why here, when Rashi says that the 2 great people in the womb is Rebbe and Antoninus, you know what this was? This guy, Marcus Aurelius, this Roman emperor, was actually a student of Rabbi Yehuda Nassi's. He was a student. That's why he was such a righteous Roman person. People didn't realize it. He had a secret tunnel, the Talmud says, he used to go and he used to learn with Rabbi Yehuda Nassi. And historically, this is why Rabbi Yehuda Nassi wrote the Mishnah. The Mishnah, which is the foundation of the oral Torah, was written in the middle of the Roman persecution. How did that happen? The Romans are killing us left and right, and all of a sudden there's this one respite of time where the rabbis are given this ability to sit there and to gather all the sages together and write the text and make sure everything is correct. You know why? Because God arranged it that the emperor was going to be not only the friend but the student of this rabbi. And historically, there was a period of time where there was a respite from the persecution of the Romans. And if you look at your last source, an amazing thing, the last source has that when Antoninus was learned by Rebbe, it says that at night, when Rebbe would want to go to his bed, so Antoninus the king, Marcus Aurelius, would bend over and say, "Step on my back and climb up into your bed." And Rebbe would say, "I can't do it, you're the king, it's not right." He says, "I wish I could be your support beneath you in the world to come." Why is this brought here? Because this is the potential epitome of the relationship between Esav and Yaakov. This is what it should have been. The Roman Empire, which was called the Holy Roman Empire, which was never too holy, it could have been the Holy Roman Empire. What it would have been, imagine that world. What could have been, if Isaac's vision would have been correct, that these Romans who are controlling it would be Jews. They'd be the ones who'd be out in the world, not going with gladiators killing each other, but going from person to person saying, "Listen, you have to act righteously, we are in control, we're the Roman Empire, and this is the way you have to act." That was Esav, and it could have been part of the Jewish people. And that was the marriage between Esav and Yaakov. Amazing. And the last question. Now this is fantastic. Listen to this one thing. You know why? Even though Yaakov said, "It's me, comma, Esav is your eldest," he tried to say it in that way, the deeper meaning is he never lied. You know why? Because at that moment, he became Esav. He really was Esav. He had taken Esav's job in life. Isaac didn't know it. But now the Jewish people, which were going to be this Esav and Yaakov combination, and Esav sold out, Yaakov now had two jobs. He was going to be Jacob, sitting and learning Torah, the spiritual side, and it was also now going to be Esav's job of going out and straightening the world out. He had to do both. So he says, "I am Esav." It was true. Not only that, you ever wonder, Yaakov had how many wives? Who was his main wives first? Because that one's another story. But who were his wives? He married first Rachel, and then he married Leah. He wanted to marry Rachel, and then he switched and he had Leah. Right. So he married Leah and Rachel. Now, there's a little problem with that. What's the problem with that?
Sisters.
Yeah, sisters. Can't do it. Sorry, it's against Torah. It's forbidden. Right? How did Yaakov go and marry two sisters? It's against the Torah. You can't marry two sisters. As long as they're alive, you can't marry two sisters. It's forbidden. It's one of the errors. It's one of the forbidden relationships. So, anyone have an answer to that question? It should have bothered us for all this time.
Well, he was two people now.
That's the deeper answer. That's the deeper answer. So, this is how you understand this. This is an amazing thing. The Kabbalah say, Nefesh Chaim says, that before the Torah was commanded, so what happened was the sages would go, the forefathers kept the Torah, but from their own free will. They would see that if we did these things, it would fix up the spiritual worlds. And so they kept the Torah, but they weren't obligated. They kept it because they knew it was the right thing. Yaakov, he says, sees in the future that the Jewish nation comes from Rachel and from Leah. He knows that's the situation, so he marries the two of them. That's what the book Nefesh Chaim says. So in years when I was in yeshiva, my learning partner said to me, "It's impossible. It makes no sense. How could that be? How could it be that to go to fix the world, he has to do something that's against the Torah, even if it's on his own free will?" And now we can say a very, very deep answer tonight. Because what happened was, the system of the world was dependent on everyone's free will. So they would look into the world before the Torah was given. They had the ability to go to not to keep the Torah because it wasn't commanded yet, but they did it. In the deeper scenario, Esav was supposed to marry who? Leah. And Yaakov was supposed to marry Rachel. And what happened was, Esav sold out of his purpose. And there was Leah. And her soulmate becomes a bum. And that's what it says. It says the eyes of Leah were soft because she was crying. Why is she crying? She said, I don't want to marry Esav. Esav's a terrible person. Who said you have to marry Esav? Who told you you have to marry Esav? What are you crying about, lady? Stop crying. The answer was she knew. She knew that potentially the soulmate that she was supposed to have would have been Esav. And that's why Yaakov wanted to marry Rachel, because that was really his original soulmate, in that sense. When Esau